Hi, Tom Gangler, Business Development here at South Point Financial Credit Union. Looking to do an overview of Banking 101. Alongside me today, I have Carissa. Carissa, if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Carissa Rodewald, and I am the Digital Experience Manager here at South Point.
Thanks for joining me. Banks, credit unions, financial institutions. So we do a variety of things, offer products, offer services, anything from accounts, loans, security, financial wellness. There's a lot of topics that we're actually going to sit here and cover. First thing we're going to do is talk about the differences between banks and credit unions. Outside looking in, they may look very similar, but there are some big differences with them as well too. We all offer checking accounts, we all offer savings accounts, but some of the differences can stand out. Carissa, can you talk a little bit about some of the differences between the two?
Absolutely. So the differences between a credit union and a bank are typically how they're run. So a credit union is not for profit, where a bank is a for-profit financial institution. Credit unions are member-owned, and banks are owned by private stockholders. Credit unions are served by a volunteer board of directors, and banks are served by a paid board of directors. Credit unions can only serve their members versus banks that typically can serve the average consumer or any consumer.
So at credit unions, you hear the word members. At banks, you hear customers or clients. What does it take to qualify to be a member at South Point, for example?
At South Point, it is a field of membership, and you have to live, work, worship, own a business, or attend school in that field of membership.
So then when it comes to different types of accounts the credit unions and banks offer, we've heard of checking accounts, we've heard of savings accounts. Can you talk a little bit about some of the basic usages of a checking account?
For checking accounts, it's really having your money deposited and then spending. So using a debit card, maybe checks, Apple or Google Pay to spend your money.
And then when it comes to savings accounts, what are some of the value that you have with that?
With the savings account, it is really establishing what kind of savings you as a consumer want to do. So are you saving towards something, saving in case of an emergency, just have some extra funds that you want to save for something further down the line.
There's lots of banks, there's lots of credit unions out there, so there's got to be a way to figure out where you want to have your finances at. When it comes to choosing a bank or credit union to use, what are some of the things a person might think about or look into for choosing that?
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to want to look at location. So are they close to you? Are they present online? What is important to you? Then you're going to want to look at what kind of accounts they offer, and not just look at a high level what kind of accounts they offer, but also look at that fine print and identify, are they a heavily feed financial institution? Are there a lot of hoops to jump through to get some of the benefits like higher interest rates or cash back items, things of that nature?
When it comes to actually opening it, do you go in? Can you do it over the phone? What are some different options right there?
Most financial institutions, and South Point specifically, they offer an option to apply online. They offer an option to apply over the phone or to come inside a branch and work with an employee.
When you go in to open up your account, you're going to be required to provide certain documents, maybe a driver's license or state ID, so you can be identified. What are some other things that a person would want to bring in along with them?
Yes, the other options you're going to want to bring in are your social security number. You're going to want to bring in a deposit, so some money to open those accounts with. And then proof of address. So if for some reason your address doesn't match your driver's license, bring in a secondary option like a utility bill or a lease agreement, something of that nature.
So then when it comes to you have your checking account open, there's a variety of ways that you can use your account right there. What are some more common methods of spending your money, or different ways we can use to do that?
So a lot of times it's using those debit cards. That would be checks. Online bill pay is another popular way for spending money. Mobile wallets. Yeah, those would be the big ones.
Mobile wallets, Google Pay, Apple Pay, very convenient right there. And that brings up technology in banking these days. Been a lot of advancements with that over the years. You can have an app on your phone or even a site you go to on a desktop computer right there. So I think of checking your balance or maybe transferring funds. You mentioned bill pay. What are some of the other things you can do with online banking?
With online banking, you can transfer funds, you can set up notifications so that proactively your account is speaking to you, letting you know what your balances are, when your balances are low, when deposits are coming in. There's typically money management tools available, so budgeting tools that help you establish where you're sitting financially from a debt perspective or from maybe a savings perspective. And like I said, that bill pay option to be able to electronically send your bills out.
So lots of different ways you can
Absolutely.
use it right there. When it comes to your job, you're getting a paycheck. A lot of people are offering direct deposit these days. Direct deposit is a way for that money to electronically go right into your checking or maybe your savings account, whichever you select. How does a person establish direct deposit? What information are they going to need to give to their employer to make that happen right there?
It used to be a voided check. A lot of people don't use checks anymore, or paper checks, or even have them. So what you're going to need to establish a direct deposit would be 2 sets of numbers. So the first number would be your routing number or ABA number, and that number is for the financial institution. That tells electronically that these funds are going to, for example, South Point. And then the second set of numbers would be your account number. So that identifies your account at the financial institution that you work with. So for example, if it were coming to South Point, we'd want our routing number and then your account number at South Point.
So say I've established my account already, but I have no idea what those numbers are. Where do I get them?
Honestly, they are inside your online banking environment. So once you've logged into your online banking environment, if you're tapping on an account and there's usually a details section in there, your account number is established right there. In South Point's online banking environment, you can also find the routing number from the More section. Routing numbers are public information, so most financial institutions have them available on their websites. That account number is always either established behind your online banking, or you can always call your financial institution and they should be able to help you get that number.
So South Point markets itself as a full-service financial institution. We talked about checking, we talked about savings, mobile banking. Obviously, in the finance world, there's a lot more out there. I've heard of CDs, I've heard of insurance, investment. Can you talk about some of those products and services and how they relate to South Point or banking in general?
Absolutely. So CDs would be considered a long-term savings. Those are time deposits. They tend to have a higher interest rate. That's a popular item right now with the interest rate market the way it is. Some other products would be credit cards. So those in case of emergency items. What can you do quickly when you have a small emergency? Loans such as mortgages or vehicle loans are oftentimes common products. And then even just simple personal loans. Think about your furnace breaking down and being unprepared for that. A lot of those are common tools that members come to us for help with.
A couple other things that I think are worth talking about are maybe some of the security advantages of being banked. We've heard of FDIC, you've heard of NCUA, obviously insurance coverages to help a person. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So FDIC insurance would be what is covering a bank in case there were to be some sort of mismanagement of their financials. And NCUA insurance is the equivalent of it, or the same as that, for credit unions. So if for some reason the credit union that you're participating with has mismanaged the funds, your funds are protected up to that certain dollar amount. So it's important to understand where your funds are lying and then what your coverage looks like.
So sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking when you open up your first account or maybe start your first savings account or maybe bounce your first check. Things happen in life right there. What are some things here at South Point that maybe stand out to you to help people on an individual basis, maybe being more comfortable with their account, establishing a savings plan, or making sure their spending is correct?
Yeah, we have all of our staff trained to be they're FISEP certified, which is a training that sets them up to be able to help members budget. So maybe that is they're repairing a credit situation that they've come into where maybe they've had a bump in their credit history. And we've got tools to listen to what the member's trying to achieve, understand where they are, and then identify how to get there within the members' preferences. So they have a lot of variety. Same with savings. So if you're trying to reach a savings goal and maybe savings has been a struggle for you, our staff are trained to understand our products and services and point you in the right direction.
Awesome. So folks, just to kind of wrap things up, banking, it's not rocket science, right? But there are a lot of products, there's a lot of services, and it's really important to find the best fit for you so you can get the full value of your banking relationship. We talked about some of the different accounts. We talked about some of the education opportunities and obviously some of the security that comes with it. So the value of being banked is there, and it's important to educate yourself and get yourself in the best position possible when you start your checking and savings account. We appreciate you watching and hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.